We are very pleased to be here with Dr. John Cook. He's the president of Springfield Technical Community College. Just completed your first academic year here with us in Springfield. So pleased to have you with us, sir. Many people, I think, are not aware that community colleges are the largest division of Massachusetts state public higher education system, serving the greatest number of students.
We are. I think we are very proud of always being that onboard, that access ramp for so many of our communities. There are 15 community colleges in the Commonwealth. But yes, I think we're constantly trying to remind people that we are here, we are that accessible, and yes, very proud to serve the literally thousands of students that we do. Yes.
You come to us from Manchester, New Hampshire. You're vice president for academic affairs, I believe, at the community college in Manchester in New Hampshire. Not too far away, and yet every region, every school has its own unique kind of culture and way of doing things, its own identity. Has anything in particular struck you about STCC in your first year here?
Yes, I've gotten this question a little bit. Help people, they're always curious to know what are the similarities, what are the differences. I would say it's not too hard to talk about our unique infrastructure at the college. We are co-located with a National Historic Site. Some of our buildings date to the mid-1800s. That is truly unique to have a national park as your neighbor. And those lovely buildings, as much character as they have, really bring some unique challenges because these are our teaching and learning spaces. And when you're a technical community college and you have a lot of different labs and unique learning settings, it takes some doing. So I've had a bit of a baptism by fire, or in our case by water, with some of the challenges we've had. But they're wonderful buildings, and but that's been the real big difference. Is I've never quite been on a college campus with such unique architecture as we have here.
It's such a mix, yeah. The thing that always just strikes me in such a great way anytime I'm on the STCC campus is the amazingly diverse community of people, students, faculty, staff, that just come together and make the place happen.
It's truly an asset for us. We are a Hispanic serving institution. That's a federal designation. That means, in our case, upwards of almost 30% of our students identify as Latina or Latino. We are almost 20% African American. And the one I like to add that has sort of snuck up on people is almost 60% both of our students and our faculty are women. So we are a tremendously diverse institution, and yeah, absolute strength of ours.
Before we started, we were chatting a little bit about, in the last few years, I've noticed in particular, the current governor, Charlie Baker, the preceding governor, Deval Patrick, both really zeroed in on the community colleges as a really important link in the regional economy in each area that the schools are located. Workforce development. One of the things you folks work so hard to do is have programs, courses that match the needs of the local and regional economy.
For sure. This is the part that I enjoy about our world of higher education is everyone in some ways can get behind it because they either know somebody who went to a community college, they themselves went, or they're an employer and they recognize how quickly we can sort of help them address a need that they have. But I find we're this fulcrum, we're this hinge sometimes, both between high school and that job, to add a skill, to add a certificate or a particular training. And when we're doing well, when we're living our middle name, that community piece, we're listening a lot of times to those kinds of needs. And it's why we do so much in the areas of healthcare, of engineering technologies, those kinds of very important fields here in Western Massachusetts.
Well, let's talk about one of the fields you just mentioned. It's really cutting edge at STCC, electrical engineering technology and robotics.
Right.
You can't get more cutting edge than that.
Right. I was taking a picture actually with a student who had done some drone work. And of course, that very topic can raise lots of conversations for people. But it's amazing just on the life safety side of things. I think if we went back to Hurricane Katrina even, I heard anecdotally that drones were even used to do some sort of well-being checks and things like that. And of course, who knows, some of our online vendors may be dropping off deliveries in real time to people via drone in the not too distant future. But it is technologies like that that we're trying to remain current on, and that we have just an amazing array of faculty who bring this perspective. I mean, I come from the social science background, so I show up and I want to talk teaching and learning with people, and I say, you're really the content experts. But when we talk about electrical engineering, civil engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, it's amazing the array that we have, and all of these really do have particular workforce, employer needs associated with them.
And all of this, if I'm understanding it right, plays hand in glove or fits hand in glove really with what you call the TWO initiative, training and workforce options.
Yes, this is our partnership with Holyoke Community College, and myself and President Royal, in some ways we knew before we even landed in our jobs that we had our work cut out, because our predecessors really set the bar for how two community colleges in a shared ecosystem really need to work together. I mean, the genesis for this was, let's not step on each other's toes going to some of our key employers. We knock on the door one day, HCC knocks on the door the next day. Let's do it together. So that's been the genesis of that partnership. And even before Christina Royal started, she and I were texting one another, and we kind of knew we needed to continue this. We needed to get that right. And in some ways, that's the easy part. We realize it's too important for us to not continue the work with TWO. We're actually just trying to figure out how do we do more of that, especially with some of the other things coming on, like there'll be a casino school here in Springfield, and that'll be a TWO partnership, for example. So really just trying to dial in some of those particulars.
I mean, the thing you hear from employers so often is we can't find the people with exactly the skill, the training, the background we need. I would think they got to be pretty happy to have two college presidents knocking at the door.
For sure. I think they like the simplicity, the elegance of it that way. One conversation, not two for starters. And what we try to say is, we're working with people here. It's hard process to sort of move that along. Teaching and learning is not point A to point B kind of a thing. We try to get people's hands on things, minds on things, so they can kind of really think about what the work is, not just be in some ways themselves these sort of automatons who just kind of stamp things out. But in some ways, that's what our employers are asking for anyway. Even if it's a one-year certificate, let's say, in CNC machining, it's not you just press a button on these very complex, very expensive machines. You really kind of have to think your way around them. But that's, in some ways, what our premise is with employers is 9 months in a manufacturing certificate. They know that really makes a difference with the employability of that person.
Clearly, you see the role of the community colleges only growing and gaining in importance in the years to come.
For sure, and I think in some ways it's the premise we have always offered, which is we're the most affordable option. I think even as we move each year beyond the Great Recession, that really helped bring a bit of a prominence back to community colleges. And I think families got savvy, they got smart about making these kinds of choices. And what people are finding is it's through Commonwealth-wide efforts like the Commonwealth Commitment. We actually are trying to work closer with our four-year, with our bachelor's institutions. We're doing, for example, what's called a 3+1 in nursing. So 3 years with us and then 1 year at Westfield State in the area of nursing. We're trying to, again, blur those lines a little bit between us and them. And even going the other way, we're trying to do more what's called early college, where we're working with high schools so students are earning college credits when they're still in high school. We're trying to, again, build out those connections between all the ends of the education spectrum so that there's less guesswork when students land with us. What do I want to do? Where do I want to sort of build a career towards? These are really important things, and I think community colleges continue, again, to be such promising opportunities, and we have our work cut out to just continue to be on people's radar.
Well, John Cook, President of Springfield Technical Community College, thanks so much for coming in, sir. Appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Glad we could do this. Oh, they want me to do the close again because my tongue's stuck on technical.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
I'm just well, you can say.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Still rolling, so here we go. Well, John Cook, President of Springfield Technical Community College, thanks so much for coming in, sir.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.